Hello, my name is Lillian Okibe. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to care for locks on vacation, especially if you're going to be on the beach or like in the pool a lot. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, then please keep on watching. Repeat after me. My locks will not get in the way of me living my life. Say it again. My locks will not get in the way of me living my life. One thing I noticed that happens generally for many people who have natural hair, whether locks or loose hair, is that instead of making their hair serve them, they kind of like become slaves to their hair. Now what I mean by that is their hair gets in the way of them enjoying life. The reason why you're going on vacation, most likely you want to have fun, enjoy yourself, or spend time with loved ones and things like that. It would be a shame if instead of enjoying activities and spending time with your loved ones, you're focusing on oh my hair, and you're not doing things that everybody else is doing, right? So the first thing you need to do is to mentally prepare yourself, prepare your mind that no matter what happens, your hair, your locks will not get in the way of you enjoying your time on vacation. So now that you have that out of the way, I feel like the next thing that you need to do to care for your locks when you're going on vacation is prepare your locks for the vacation, right? Wash, moisturize. If you're someone who likes to retwist your locks or like interlock or whatever before you go on vacation. But try not to use gel, because if you end up using gel, it's not going to be a good idea. Try not to use gel, but get your hair ready, like prepare your hair, clean your hair, no matter the kind of maintenance you normally do that before you go on vacation. Because the thing is, if you're going to be going on a water vacation, that will mean that you're going to be going into the water, and we know that when your hair gets wet, when your locks get wet, one of the things that happen, especially if you have small locks or like smaller locks, is that your locks may start to marry or like merge, right? So when I say care for your locks, like maintain your locks before you go on vacation, when you do this, you kind of like put your hair back to reset. I don't know if that makes sense. Like you separate your locks in such a way that all your locks are standing one by one. So even if when you go on vacation, you end up experiencing some marrying, it's not going to be like super crazy. That will take a lot of time and effort to undo when you get back from your vacation, right? So it's always a good idea to, if you're not completely free-forming, maintain your locks before you go, whether you retwist or interlock or palm roll or whatever, or if you use the Lillian Okibe locks method, which I use, do that before you go on vacation so that the marrying is not going to be too much when you get back. But like I said, don't use gel, because if you use gel, once you get into the water, it's just going to be messy. It's just going to be messy. So try as much as you can not to use gel when you go ahead to maintain your locks for your water vacation. Now another thing you should do, and this is more like what you should not do, because I find that this is kind of like the first option most people go for when they are going on vacation, is don't install protective styles with extensions on your locks before going on vacation, especially if it's going to be a water kind of vacation, because protective styles with extensions will make your head, make your locks heavy. It will just add a lot of weight to your locks, right? And it's not going to be fun. Like you may end up having a lot of headaches and head issues on vacation, and because the protective styles alone add weight to the hair, and if you're going to be in the water a lot, water will also add some weight. So by the time you add the weight of your locks, plus the weight of the extensions, plus the weight of the water, it will most likely be too much, and that will cause some damages on your own natural locks. So by the time you're done with your vacation, when you get back home, you see some like breakage and thinning and damage and things like that. So even though I know that this is something many people choose to do, I don't really recommend installing protective styles with extensions before going on vacation. In addition to this, I also think that you should also not install protective styles even without extensions that require you like having to braid or like twist or like just merge your locks, right? I try as much as you can not to do that, because when you do that, by the time you get into the water, with all the water and all the playing around and everything, plus the fact that your locks are like bound and merged in a way, it may cause your locks to marry more than normal. It may cause like some knots that may be a little bit more difficult for you to undo when you get back home. So try to just maintain your locks, retwist and all of the likes, and interlock or whatever if you do any of those things, but try not to put in protective styles if you're going to be in the water. Now it's a different case if you're going on vacation and it's going to be like a non-water kind of vacation. That's different. You can go ahead and do your lock styles, but I feel like if you're going to be in the water, try not to, you know, install any style that will require you putting 2 or more locks together. Another thing you need to do to care for your locks when you're going on vacation, on water vacation, is you want to go with like a thick oil or butter. Now I know that in the lock community, using like butter is like a taboo when people are against it because they feel that it can cause build-up and the likes, which is true. If you use if you use too much, you will most likely end up with build-up, right? But the reason why I say you should go with a thick oil or like a butter is that you're going to need this to prevent your locks from soaking in too much salt water if you're going to be in the beach, in the ocean, or too much chlorine water if you're going to be in the pool. And this because if your locks end up soaking a lot of salt water and chlorine water, it may dry out your locks, which will cause like issues down the line, and your hair may not look as nice as you would want, right? So before you get into the pool, as often as you get into, like, if let's say if you're going to be in the pool daily, then you can do this daily. But like before you get into the pool, just apply a thin layer of a thick oil or a butter on your locks. Like, it doesn't have to be something heavy. Like I said, you don't need too much. Like if you watch my lock moisturizing video, the amount of product I use in that video is most likely going to be enough, right? So you don't need a lot of product, but just apply a thin layer of a thick oil or a butter on your locks to help prevent your locks from drinking in too much salt water and chlorine water. Another thing is that oils serve as sunscreen. So if you're going to be in the pool or in salt water, by the time you add that salt water or like that chlorine water on your locks, and then you add the sun, you're going to have a lot of sun bleaching. Now if you're someone who wants your locks to bleach, then that's not a big deal. But if you don't want that, for those of you who do not know what sun bleaching is, like when the sun acts on hair, right? When the sun acts on hair, unlike the skin, like, you know, when you go under the sun and the sun like acts on your skin, it makes your skin darker, right? But it is like the opposite that happens with the hair. So if you go into the sun and your hair is not protected, right, instead of the sun to make your hair darker, like it will make your skin darker, it's going to make your hair lighter. So it's going to be like more like a brownish reddish color. Like when you expose your locks to the sun, especially when you have salt water in your hair, the whole salt and chlorine water is going to make your hair and your skin also to be more sensitive to the sun, and that will mean a lot more sun damage. So if you don't want that, or if you want to reduce that to like as minimal as possible, you can apply a thin layer of the product before going into the pool, and that will do you so much good. Another thing you need when going on vacation with your locks is go with like a mild shampoo, because if you're going to be in the pool or like in the ocean frequently, it would be a good idea to come back and like just like wash off all that chlorine and salt water from your hair. Now every day when you get back, just make sure you rinse, you know, your locks. Now that's the next tip actually. Every time when you get back from your swimming session, make sure you rinse your locks so that all that water, you know, washes off. But in addition to that, the next tip of having a mild shampoo is, because you're applying products like oils and butters in your locks will most likely get oily or like greasy quicker, right? And it will be a good idea for you to wash off all that excess products as soon as possible. So it will be a good idea to go with a mild shampoo. Understand that if you're going to be on vacation and you're going to be in the pool a lot, know that you're going to need to wash your locks more often than you normally do it if you were like at home. That's if you're someone who doesn't wash your locks like often when you're at home. So go with a mild shampoo that will not dry your locks too much, because if you use like a heavy duty shampoo and you're washing like multiple times a week, that may be drying for your locks. So just go with something mild that will just help to wash off the oils that you have applied in your hair and wash off the salt water or chlorine water that may be in your hair. Now you don't have to do this every day, but like every few days, right? You may want to do that depending on how your locks feel, whether they are starting to feel oily or things like that. Next thing you need to do to care for your locks on vacation is go with a fan. Either go with a fan or make sure that there is a good fan where you're going to. And the reason why I say this is because you're going to be in the water a lot. There's a high chance that if you're depending on the elements, the atmosphere, the sun, the wind in the air, some days or sometimes it may not be enough to dry your locks. Now, if you go into the pool, your locks get wet and you get back and put on your bonnet and like your hair doesn't get dry before the next day and you go into the pool and things like that, your locks start to smell weird. And yeah, this takes me back to the first point I mentioned where I said that you should like wash your locks before you go on vacation. Another advantage of this is if your hair is clean before you go on vacation, when you get into the water, your chances of having your locks smell bad is going to be reduced, like really reduced. But if your hair is dirty or like not fresh, like if your locks are not like fresh, when you get into the pool or like when you get into the beach, your chances of having your locks smell weird is going to be very high. So if you do not get your hair dry, like get your locks dry almost immediately, your locks are going to start to smell weird and you don't want that. So that's why it's good for you to wash your locks and like basically wash your locks just before you go on vacation. I was talking about going with a fan. The elements in the atmosphere may not be enough for you to dry your hair, and that's where the fan comes in handy. Now, you don't have to go with like a huge standing fan. Getting something that is just like really small, like a small like hand fan that I've shown you guys before here on my channel can really help. And you want to really focus on your scalp because the ends of your locks kind of like don't take so long to dry. But like if you have thick locks, if you have a lot of hair, you need something that will really go in there to your scalp to make sure that it dries, especially on days when like the sun or like the wind is not there, like it's not available to like really dry your hair fast. What you want to have at the back of your mind is do not ever make sure that your hair dries completely before you go into the pool or like before you go into the water again. So for example, if you go into the pool today and you get back to maybe your hotel or wherever you're going to be staying, if by the next day your hair is not fully dry, if you go into the pool again, your hair will start to smell weird and you may even start to have issues with like fungus on your scalp and like itchy scalp and things like that. So it's always a good idea to make sure that your hair dries properly, completely before you go ahead and go into the pool or go into the water again. And that's where the fan comes in handy. Focus on your scalp, make sure that it dries completely, and you refine. Another thing you need to care for your locks when you're on a water vacation is for you to go with a satin pillowcase, a satin or silk pillowcase, or a very large satin or silk scarf. Now the reason for this is, like I've been talking about like throughout this video, if you're going on water vacation, just know that your hair is going to be wet or damp a lot. Now it's not be a good idea for you to come back from your swimming session and go ahead and wear a bonnet or go ahead and wear a scarf, right? Now the reason why I say you should get a pillowcase or a large scarf is if you get a pillowcase, you're just going to put the satin or silk pillowcase on your pillow and you can go ahead and go to sleep. Even if your hair is not dry, by the time you go to sleep, and then if you have like a fan or something close to your head, your hair will dry, will most likely get dry or completely or like almost completely dry before the next day. Another thing is if you go with a very large scarf, you can as well like cover the pillow or like the bed area, like the head area on the bed with your large scarf and go to sleep without covering your hair, which will prevent lint, right? But in addition, apart from that, it will also help to keep your hair exposed while it dries, right? You do not want to be wearing a bonnet when your hair is wet or damp. Next tip, this is like something I've already touched on previously, but it is for you to understand that your locks will marry. Some of your locks will merge, some of your locks will marry. Like it's not going to marry to a point of no return, but you're going to see some locks starting to hug each other, and that's okay, that is fine, because you went on like a 2-week vacation or like a 1-week vacation and you were in the water. Like it's not going to make your locks merge to a point of no return. So do not panic. Do not panic. Understand that your locks will have some form of like marrying, and that is fine, that is okay, that's not the end of the world. If you are patient enough, when you get back home, you're going to be able to fix it. Or if you have a good loctician who handles your hair, he or she will be able to fix that when you get back home. So it's not the end of the world. That should not stop you from enjoying your holiday, right? Next thing that will help you to care for your locks if you're going on water vacation is know that when you get back home, you're going to need to do some work, right? by the time you get back home, do not rush into on marrying or like untangling what is marrying. And also when you're on vacation as well, do not go ahead and just carelessly pop and snap your locks apart because you don't want them to merge. Enjoy your holiday, enjoy your your time. When you get back home, pick a day or like a few days when you're going to be calm and relaxed, and then just carefully, gently go ahead and like gently separate the locks that are starting to marry. Do not do this when you're not relaxed, because if you do this when you're not relaxed, you're going to come back here and curse me that I gave you tips that did not work because your locks merged and married, and then you ended up having to, you know, cause some thinning when you went ahead to separate them. If you do that when you're not relaxed, you're not going to do a good job. You're going to end up ripping your hair out, causing some breakage, causing some uprooting, and it's not going to be nice at all. So pick a day after your vacation. Don't rush into like undoing the marrying. Pick a day when you're relaxed, right? After you have come back and you're settled in, pick a day when you're relaxed and just carefully and gently go ahead and separate the locks that are starting to marry. It's not the end of the world. Like I tell you, it's not the end of the world. Your hair should not get in the way of you enjoying and living your life. And I hope these tips, you guys find these tips helpful. If you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Let me know down in the comment section how you care for your locks when you go on vacation, particularly if it's like vacation on the beach or like in the pool and things like that. I'd like to know, I'd like to hear your tips as well. So go ahead, drop them in the comment section. If you guys would like to learn how I care for my locks, like how I retwist, how I started my locks, how I maintain, how I wash and all the likes, I have an online course where I share all the details. I'll put the link down in the description box, and if you click my name and go to my homepage, you're also going to find the link over there. If you also like to see the products that I use for my locks, I sell all of them on my website, and it's also available on Amazon USA. So I'll put the link also down in the description box, and if you click my name, go to my homepage, you find the link over there. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys in my next video.